Let's start with something you may not have known.
Okay.
Did you know that Bill Cosby had a show before The Cosby Show, which was uniquely and creatively named The Bill Cosby Show? Cosby Show ran from 84 to 92. The Bill Cosby Show ran from 79 to 81. Have you ever heard of it?
No, I have not.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it either. And I only heard of it because I went down the rabbit hole of the laugh track. The show that we're going to talk about today, the 90s show, has an incredible amount of fake laughter. And I was like, where did this come from? And it goes all the way back to radio.
Okay.
Back in 1946, the Bing Cosby Show, they used, I guess the radio was invented before recording equipment was invented. So there was no ability to record anything. So everything you heard on the radio was live. So if they had an East Coast show and a West Coast show, they were doing the show two times. So finally they invented the ability to record stuff. And then Bing Crosby was the first kind of big radio host to record the show, so they could just play it. They could just do the East Coast one, and they would just replay it for the West Coast. So one night they had this comedian who cracked these really raunchy jokes, and they couldn't use it. Like, they had to cut it from the show. So then 2 weeks later, they had a comedian who was not funny, and they were like, yo, let's take the laughter that we got 2 weeks ago, and let's add it to this guy, and the rest is history.
Okay, laugh
It became
track.
really popular, 60s and 70s, and then there was some pushback. Like I said, Bill Cosby in the late 70s and 80s pushed back against it. Other people pushed back against it. Then it became real popular again, and now it's like hit or miss. Like shows like The Office, which don't have a laugh track, but shows like that 90s show have a horrible laugh track.
So bad. It's bad.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Hey everyone, this is Luther Palmer.
And I'm Jobina Scott.
And welcome to One Episode Stand, a podcast where each episode we watch and discuss the series premiere of a new television show with no spoilers.
And then, like the Rolling Stones we move on to the next show. Everybody's out here having one-night stands, but we are having one-episode stands.
We love them and leave them. We hit it and quit it. We tap it and scrap it, but we do it for you, the listeners, to help you figure out what new shows to watch and what new shows to skip. Jobina, how are you doing?
Yeah, so our listeners likely know at this point that sometimes we record early in the morning.
Yes.
Today is the day where we are recording
late at night.
And this is just giving me an opportunity to sit with my age, because this particular hour of the evening,
yes,
I am really sleepy.
Well,
how are you?
I am good. Yeah, I mean, we're late. I mean, it's midnight where I am. We're late, but we are committed because we are passionate.
That's right.
We are professional podcast hosts, and we will do the things necessary.
We will come through for our listeners.
Right. All right, so let's jump into it. We are talking about That 90s Show.
Yes, That 90s Show is on Netflix. It's like a half-hour sitcom, obviously, hence the laugh track. And it features some of the original cast members, as well as this kind of new iteration 20 years later into the 90s of the family that was featured in That 70s Show.
So were you a fan of That 70s Show?
I wouldn't call myself a fan. Like, I certainly have seen episodes. I'm very familiar with the show, but not I have to see every episode.
No, I thought you were an Ashton Kutcher person.
I really do like Ashton Kutcher.
That was that his first big thing or no? Was that?
I'm not sure if it was his first big thing. I liked him on the show.
Right.
I guess this is not a spoiler. He makes an appearance in the first episode of That 90s Show, along with Mila Kunis, his wife. But yeah, not a fan. Not necessarily a fan.
Now, I debated about what, I like to start the show with something you may not have known, little known fact, something interesting. I debated because there's another little known fact about That 90s Show. Did you know that there was a show called That 80s Show?
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yes. Yeah.
They tried this before.
They've tried this before.
No.
So I heard about it because when I watched that 90s show, at the very end it said Marcy Carcer and Tom Werner. And I don't know if you remember this, but they used to produce the Bill Cosby Show. The Cosby Show in a different world. So I was like, oh, I haven't seen their names in a while. Let me go back and look and see what they've been doing. Well, they've been doing nothing since like 2005.
Nothing.
They're doing nothing. So as I was going back through the shows that they've done, I saw that 80s show. And I said, what? So I go to YouTube, type in that 80s show, and I watched the first 10 minutes, and I said, this is horrible.
This is trash.
And here they are, all these years later,
trying
again. Okay, so what is the show about? Let's talk about that.
Well, is it about Eric and what's the girl's name? Is her name Donna? It Eric and Donna? They're adults. They now have a teenage daughter. Mm-hmm. And it's about maybe her kind of reliving some of their teenage experiences while spending the summer with her grandparents, Eric's parents.
Yeah, Red and I forget the grandmother's name now. Red and Kitty.
Kitty and
Red.
Red. Yes.
And they were the lovable characters. So that 80s show did not include any of the cast.
Okay.
So that 90s show, them going back to Red and Kitty's house in the basement, I guess they figured this is a better attempt at recreating the magic.
Attempt at a reboot. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So Eric and Donna bring their daughter to spend the weekend, and the daughter wants to stay.
Yeah.
And
she wants to stay for the summer.
Right. So and they end up, spoiler alert for episode 1, they let her stay.
She stays.
And she starts in this same thing. Like there's a group of friends that she meets and hangs out with, and then the last scene of the show is them in the basement again, sort of restarting this whole process. So, how does the show look, sound, and feel?
It looks 90s. Like you look at Kitty and Red's house, they definitely did a 90s update from their 70s, their original 70s decor. So it looks 90s. Mm-hmm. It looks 90s. That's all I got.
Well, I will add, so the laugh track is so obnoxious.
It's horrible.
It is so bad. And what Bill Cosby said back in the 70s, he said, I don't want the writers to get lazy knowing that they could just put in a fake laugh. If the audience doesn't laugh, the audience doesn't laugh.
It's not funny. Right.
And there are some lines in that 90s show that are, I'm not even sure they were trying to be funny, but there's a laugh track on it. And it's just like, it's annoying. And I think now that our ears have been trained away from the laugh track, it's such an intrusion. It just made things way worse to me.
Worse, right?
Let me see. Look, sound, and feel. I guess to me it had the same exact feel of that 70s show. Like it was the same kind of goofy energy, the same punchlines, the same vibe. Okay. One of the things that I also felt as I watched the show was, so Eric and Donna are now the parents, right? And they now have the kids. And it just made me think about, so my family has this big family reunion every year. And we took this picture there's 150 of us in this picture. Wow. And I was like 4 years old in this famous picture. And I remember the year when I was the same age that my parents were in that picture and being like, holy shit.
Right? Oh, no. What happened?
We're the old people now.
We are.
Man, it was just and that's the one thing about this show that the one tiny thing about the show that I found compelling was this, they were the teenagers and now they're the quote unquote responsible adults and they have teenagers. And I cannot believe how old I am. I just every birthday I'm like, wow, this is really happening.
Well,
the number just keeps on going up.
I'm older than you are. It is
well,
accelerating
you're
quickly. Not significantly. No.
All the milestones I hit, I call you Jobina, how was it back in the day when you were my age? Tell me stories about when you were my age.
2 years ago.
So that was interesting.
But you know what? I didn't find them compelling as parents at all. I just was like, I mean, Donna felt like her character from Orange is the New Black with a red wig on. I was like, she didn't.
Wait, what was her character
in
that? What was her character in that show?
Oh God, what was her? She was the girlfriend to the lead character on Orange
Oh, that's
is the
right.
New
That's
Black.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, but to me, she just felt like her. She had that same kind of energy. She looks different. To me, they didn't seem like a couple. It just didn't gel.
Well, I never liked them as a couple on that 70s show. I didn't think
okay.
I did because I mean she was supposed to be the hot redhead or whatever,
and
blonde,
he's like
whatever.
the corny,
and he's the corny guy. I mean they were neighbors, so that was kind of like what they by proximity they got together. I never liked them as a couple. I also did not embrace her as a mom.
Yeah.
Now he did take on the corny dad role, like the dad jokes, and I regret to say I am the corny dad.
Oh, you do corny dad
No,
jokes
when
everything?
my kids say I'm hungry,
oh no,
I have to fight
nice
myself.
To meet you.
I have to fight myself from saying, "Hi, hungry. I'm Luther." Like.
No.
And sometimes I lose that fight. And I say it. But
and
I'm the corny
I try
dad.
so hard not to be corny with my kids because I feel like my oldest daughter,
right?
She catches me on corny when I don't think I'm being corny.
At least I know.
Like, completely okay. So I'm always trying to sidestep corny at all times.
At least I know when I'm being corny. Like I
just
fully
walk right into it with gusto.
I fully embrace the corniness. Did you notice that? So I watched this twice.
You did?
And it wasn't until the second time I watched it that I connected the fact that the daughter's name is Leia, and that was a Star Trek reference.
Yes. And
so
he makes a lot of Star Trek references.
Yeah, he's all in the Star.
Like he's obsessed.
No, I'm sorry, Star Wars. Excuse me, Star Wars.
Yes, he's obsessed.
Yes.
Yeah, he's obsessed with Star Wars.
What else? Like, look, sound, and feel.
Nothing. There's nothing. I'm just gonna tell you, there's nothing there. But one scene that struck me because I have had so many experiences with this particular game. When they got out the Uno cards, I just thought about all of the times that I have played Uno. And so my question for you is, like, have you found yourself in an Uno game with people who make up their own rules, and how do you adapt? Because I get in this all the time, where people are like, "What? You don't play stacks? You don't play that mystery card?" Where people are like, "I just decided that I win. That's the mystery card. I'm the winner."
I haven't heard of that.
Uno, and they put down 15 cards. I've been in a game where someone had the mystery card, put down 15 cards.
I don't know what that is. What is the mystery card?
Uno. So there's like a card it's like a free wild card where you can make it do anything. You can say, with this card, I'm exchanging my hand with Luther's. So Luther, you have 2 cards. I have 17. Here, you take my cards. I'll take your cards.
Is there any kind of bounds on what that can be?
There are no bounds. So like the craziness that has become Uno is just, it's outlandish. It's nuts. Like, you have to play with someone who plays that card and just does it in the worst possible way because it's insane. But I got excited when I saw Uno.
Stacks and runs.
Of course, you got to do stacks.
And then cheat Uno. But Uno came out and said, for the record, like, you're not allowed to do stacks. You cannot, like, if a person lays a draw 4, they said it's in the rules. I
love stacks.
If a person lays a draw 4 on you, you cannot lay a draw 4 on that.
And do 8 on the next person.
They said, y'all Negroes made that up. That's not a rule. Stop doing that. Stop ruining our game. And black people said,
we love it.
Shut
we
the
don't
hell
care.
up. We don't care.
We love it.
And somebody said, I bought the Uno cards. Uno cards is in my house. We playing by my rules. I love Uno. Uno is just one of those timeless classic games.
I remember playing it with my grandmother. My grandmother was merciless. She would beat us. I mean, we would be like crying. We wanted to win so bad. And she's like, well, you got to learn how to play better.
Wait, my kids, I'm trying to think of the name of this game. They found this game that they played with my parents. And my dad loses. It's a reaction game. Like you have to be fast. You got to put your hand over the thing. And he's 80, and they're and they're 9.
Whipping up on their
so he is so slow, and they just laugh. They fall out of their chair laughing at their grandfather because he's so slow. And he just loves it too because he gets to spend time with his grandkids. Right. So it's a win-win. Everyone's winning in this game.
Everyone is winning.
But I think the last thing I'll say about Look, Sound, and Feel is that it's a terrible show. Like it's not.
So bad.
It is not good.
So
I don't
bad.
think I laughed a single time. Like I didn't chuckle.
There was nothing
I didn't
funny
grin.
about it.
I didn't have a pleasant thought about any of the characters. It was just not good. Okay. So let's get more or less. Like what would you want, like if you had to watch this show, what would you want to see more of, or what could they take out to make it better?
I mean, don't ask me what they could take out because the list is too long. It's just the whole show is so bad. But I mean, the only thing that would make me watch it, I was mildly entertained by the like, oh, here comes Ashton Kutcher, here comes Mila Kunis. Like, if they got the guy, if they got Vilmer, is that his name, Vilmer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would be excited maybe to see the 70s show folks show up.
Yeah.
But not really. Nothing. It's so bad.
I would say less laugh track. I would say more funny jokes.
Different writers, right?
Different writers. I don't know what they could do to salvage this.
I don't know what they could do.
That 80s show was canceled after I think 12 episodes. I think that 90s show, I don't see how they can
going
make
in the
it.
same direction.
I just don't see how they can make it.
Me either.
So I want to come back to something I was talking about earlier. Do you think you're turning into your mom?
No, I don't. I definitely, I can see myself in my mom and my mom in myself. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we talked about this with the parent test, because I feel like I've taken time to think about what are the things that I loved about the way my parents raised me and the things that I didn't. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I'm thoughtful about the things that I emulate about either one of my parents.
Right.
And I'm not big on like sayings, like the people who are like, oh, my mother always said to me, my kids are going to have no material. They're like, they're literally going to have nothing.
You don't have a go-to mom line?
No, I'm not a my mother always says. I feel like they're really going to struggle in that department because to me, they're just platitudes. They're not helpful.
You're putting your kids at a disadvantage.
Yeah, they're going to have no stories.
Their therapist is going to have no material to work with.
Nothing. Because I don't say the same thing all the time. I just don't. I don't know.
My mother would ask us, I mean, we all three of us, my siblings, she would ask us, what were you thinking? I mean, that was like the thing. And we'd be
that
like.
Was her go-to.
I mean, what do you say? Like, you've just kicked a soccer ball into the glass window in front of the house, right? Because you were playing soccer and you were using the house as the goal. So you're kicking the ball toward the house. And then she says, what were you thinking? And you're like, I wasn't.
Right. If I had been, I probably wouldn't have kicked the soccer ball to the
Clearly,
house.
standing here now with broken glass on the couch, I realized the problem. But I wasn't thinking through any of that before.
At the time.
So there was never a satisfying, you never gave her an answer. And she was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see how you came to that conclusion. Like, there was no right answer.
No.
So you just say quiet, like, I think if I try to answer, it's going to get worse.
It's just going to get worse for me. Yeah.
So I'm just going to stay quiet. I'm just going to just bring it down.
Now, what about you and your dad? Are you turning into the senior Palmer?
So people say, his family, they all think I sound like him. Like when I call his sister, so my dad's a prankster too. Like he always pranks. Yeah. So when I call his sister, I'm like, hey, auntie, this is your nephew. And then she'll say, no, I know this is you, Isaac. And I'll say, no, it's your nephew. It's Luther. And the funny thing is, she has a brother named Luther and she has a father named Luther. So when I say Luther, then she's like, no, it's you, Isaac. And I'm like, no, it's that. So it takes us a minute for her. But
to establish, right?
I think me and my dad, I don't know that I'm turning into him because man, we talked about like spiritually, I'm taking a different path than him. I think like family wise, I'm taking a different path than him. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm turning into him. I wouldn't say that. Who am I turning into though? Maybe that's the a question for therapy. Who am I turning into?
Am I?
Am I just rudderless?
Who am I becoming?
Right? Am I just rudderless in the world, being shaped by the movies and television shows that I watch? Okay. One other question. Oh, what deeper issues do you think they touched on?
Sir.
They did. They did. So they did try to touch on this idea that because Eric didn't want to leave their daughter because he was like, he was like, my parents, they didn't watch us good when we were young. Yeah. Like clearly. Yeah. And then Donna, the mom, was like, but we turned out fine. Like we did well. Right? You have to trust your daughter. And I do think there was that little bit of a theme in there of your kids are going to grow up and you have to trust them and you have to allow them to live life and experience some of the things and some of the freedom that you had when you were young. So I think there was that in there.
Yeah, well, Leia she was trying to also exert her independence. She was saying, right, and you could tell that like they were crafting her character as like a good girl. She always does what's right. She's on the debate team. She's an A+ student, and she was trying to break out of that mold. So yeah, I guess I can give that to them. They were trying to develop that.
Do you and your daughter have I'm grown issues yet?
No.
Okay.
No, not yet. I haven't. I mean, sometimes she will act in a way that indicates to maybe thinks she is more grown than she is, but not like you can't tell me what to do or you can't tell me. No, not yet. Mom. Thank God, not yet. No, I'm not ready for it.
Right. Okay. Okay. Marry, kill, one night stand. I'm going to ask you about Ashton Kutcher because he did make an appearance. Oh. I'm going to ask you what you would like to do with Ashton Kutcher.
Now, Ashton is so handsome. Mm-hmm. And on some level, I would say, let's just me and Ashton just for one night. However,
one night stand.
However, Ashton is the marrying type. Like, I mean, you think about he had this really long relationship with Demi.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Stepdad to her kids. Like, he stepped in and really publicly in love with this woman who's older. And even when the relationship ended, like, really great stepfather. And, like, he and Bruce Willis had a good relationship. Now he's married to Mila Kunis. So, maybe the one night leads to something else, and we eventually get married because I think he's probably a good marrying type of guy.
So I'm going to mark you down for marriage. I'm going to mark you down for marrying Ashton Kutcher. Okay, I didn't see that coming.
I do not know the actress's name who plays Donna. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to give you Donna.
So this is interesting because I asked you about the actor, and you're asking me about the character.
The character, well, only because I don't know her name.
Well, but either way, like it's interesting. Like we only know her as Donna, so we have to go with Donna. I don't know. I like a bad girl, and she has a little bit of a bad girl vibe to her. Definitely one night stand. Maybe marriage.
I mean, she was carrying all the luggage.
She was carrying the luggage, right? Which allowed Eric to sit. She likes a nerd.
Chat with his family.
She likes a nerd, and I'm a nerd. Hey. Now I'm still gonna say one night stand. So here's the thing. I judge women by who they date and who they marry. And she married Eric.
Yeah, you're going to say her choice.
So that's a ding.
Eric.
Like, that's a ding against her.
That's a ding for her.
Like, so like even in college, when like, oh, you dated him? Like, what's wrong with you? Oh, yes. Like, what's wrong with you? Because that dude is not even that he's corny.
Women in college
but
were
like,
young, impressionable. I mean, they could have been dating someone for any number of reasons.
Yeah, and those were the reasons that
would
disqualify you. Right. Yes, exactly. So yeah, one night stand for Donna. All right. I think we covered it. I mean, that is it, folks. That is all she wrote. Now for the question. I mean, I am on the edge of my seat waiting to ask you this question to see what your answer is going to be. Are you going to continue watching, or was it a one episode stand?
I mean, I could barely make it a one episode stand. I could barely get through it. There is no way I'm going to watch this again.
It was a half episode stand.
Right. So much so that, you know how Netflix gives you the continue watching?
Uh-huh.
Like, I went through the trouble of marking it, take it out of my continue watching.
Oh, wait. Are you serious?
You can remove a show from your continue watching bar. I removed it. I was like, I don't even want this here. I don't want any evidence that I was even watching this trash.
I don't want anyone that I'm sharing this account with to know that I watched this. You don't share Netflix?
I don't share it. No, just with my family. I mean, the people who live in this house.
Oh.
Unless someone else is giving
Y'all
away
are
our
rich.
account. No. We are not. But isn't Netflix about to start charging people?
They've been saying that every year they say that. We're
that.
about to cut down on sharing. Like, okay.
I don't share it, but in the event that my husband decides to come on my page, I just don't want him.
He might judge you by the shows you watch.
He'll be like,
he'll be like, what?
Is my wife,
we need to have a serious conversation.
Horny, yes.
And you watch the whole thing?
Right. And you want to keep watching it? No.
I might watch one more episode. It's bad. But I might watch one more just for the sake of just to see what they do. Just because, sometimes that pilot is weird.
Yeah.
And they settle in. So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. All right. I mean, I think, is there anything else you want to say about this show? Is there any other nugget or jewel that you think that people need to know about this show?
Not at this time.
All right. Thank you all for listening to One Episode Stand. If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to the podcast to be alerted when new episodes drop. If you are listening on iTunes, please give us a rating. The theme music is Freedom by Paradox Hip Hop. We'll be back next time with another series premiere. Jobina, let's end on this. Every story has a moral. What was the moral of this episode?
Well, Luther, I mean, I feel like there could be two morals. One we've already talked about, which is death to the laugh track. It's just that its season has passed. But I would even say, Luther, that reboots. I think their season has passed.
Yeah.
There was a point where reboots were so engaging and popular and fun because it was novel. We didn't ever think Full House was coming back, and it's oh my God, Fuller House. Let's see what's happening. No, I don't think anyone cares that much anymore about the shows they were watching 20 years ago. The reboot culture, just let it pass you by. There's no more.
Yeah, and as I thought about this too, right? This show came on 20 years ago.
Right.
So writing and scripting and humor has advanced since then.
So much so.
And we're different people. So you're trying to attract us to a show that we liked 20 years ago. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Then the kids are not going to be into that show because they've progressed and things are different. So my moral is be original, be creative. We don't need another Mission Impossible #8.
No.
We don't need another Fast and Furious version 9.
No, we do not.
Be original, be creative. We need some new stuff. No more lawyer shows, no more cop shows. I hate that about television. Network TV is just lawyers, cops, emergency rooms. Be creative, be original. That's it.
Give us something different.
All right, y'all. See you next time.
Bye.